Right? It's enjoying lasagna time, chilling with a book time, or time to visit your nan time. Put the phone down.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello and welcome to this Friday edition of the World Report with me, Arjun Mahendran. Let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. There are claims that China is dealing with an outbreak of the human metapneumovirus, or the HMPV, 5 years after the COVID-19 pandemic, viewers. There are even claims that Beijing has declared a state of emergency. Now, HMPV is known to cause flu-like symptoms and can also present symptoms similar to those of COVID-19. Health officials are closely monitoring the situation as the virus spreads, reportedly. NDTV, however, could not independently verify these claims. The FBI has said the suspect in the New Orleans attack acted alone. Now, the deadly event has been described as an act of terrorism. 14 people were killed and dozens injured Wednesday when the man plowed into a crowd on Bourbon Street in a pickup truck. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden, citing the FBI, has said that the attacker planted explosives in ice coolers in the French Quarter just before the attack. As per reports, Shamsuddin Jabbar also expressed beliefs that music, intoxicants, fornication and other pleasures were evil deservings of destruction. In fact, an account on the SoundCloud platform under the name of Jabbar posted 3 recordings totaling about 20 minutes each, containing those and other expressions of extremist religious views. According to public records and interviews, Jabbar had also faced family and financial struggles in recent years. Listen into what the US president had to say, followed by the finer details.
They've established that the attacker was the same person who planted the explosives in those ice coolers in 2 nearby locations in the French Quarter just a few hours before he rammed into the crowd with his vehicle. They assess he had a remote detonator in his vehicle to set off those 2 ice chests.
Meanwhile, Las Vegas authorities have confirmed the identity of the person killed in the Cybertruck explosion outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas as 37-year-old Matthew Allen Livelsberger, an active duty US Army soldier, viewers, from the Colorado Springs. The FBI stated it is still unclear if the incident was an act of terrorism indeed, though no definitive link has been found between this explosion and the earlier New Year's Day truck attack in New Orleans, which killed 15. Police say Livelsberger acted alone, taking his own life with a gunshot before gasoline canisters and fireworks in the truck detonated. DNA evidence was used to confirm his identity as the body was burned beyond recognition. Several people sustained minor injuries in the blast. Western media reports are indicating an alleged assassination attempt on former Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad by poisoning. Assad reportedly fell ill on Sunday. He has been living in Moscow since fleeing Syria in December last year. Now, according to the online account General SVR, believed to be run by a former Russian intelligence official, the 59-year-old ousted dictator sought medical help after violently cuffing and choking. Tragic incident from Southern California. A small plane crashed into the roof of a commercial warehouse in Fullerton, killing 2 people and injuring 18 others. Now, the crash occurred at 2:09 p.m. local time, just miles from Disneyland and near the Fullerton Municipal Airport. First responders battled the blaze that erupted at the site, which housed Michael Nicholas Designs. It's a furniture upholstery manufacturer. Surrounding businesses were evacuated. The type of plane and the status of those injured, very importantly, whether they were in the aircraft or on the ground, is still under investigation. Now, Fullerton is a city of around 140,000 people and is located about 40 kilometers south of Los Angeles. Listen in.
At 2:09 this afternoon, the Fullerton Police Department and Fire Department received a radio call of a plane crash in the 2300 block of Raymer Avenue, where we're standing now. The plane crashed into a commercial building halfway down the block on the left side, south side of the street. It crashed into the roof. Upon the officers and fire department arrival, they found the building on fire coming from the roof.
South Korea is facing a deepening political crisis as investigators have temporarily suspended efforts to in fact arrest President Yoon Suk-yeol. Now this comes after a tense standoff at the presidential residence in Seoul, where security teams blocked authorities attempting to detain the embattled leader. Now the warrant, valid until the 6th of January, accuses Yoon of leading an insurrection following the controversial martial law declaration last month. Political tensions continue to simmer, with heavy police presence and large crowds of supporters near the president's residence. If executed, this would mark the first time a sitting South Korean president has been arrested. Meanwhile, South Korea's transport ministry has extended inspections of all Boeing 737-800 aircraft in the country following a tragic crash that claimed 179 lives. The initial inspections were set to conclude by Friday, but have now been extended to the 10th of January. The investigation focuses on various safety measures, including engine checks and maintenance records, especially given that the plane's engines were made by General Electric's CFM International Joint Venture. The crash, which occurred when a Jeju air flight belly landed and exploded at the Muan airport, has prompted an intense examination of safety protocols and airline practices in the country. The government warned that any airline found to be in violation of safety standards could face operational suspensions, underlining the importance of compliance with aviation regulations to ensure public safety. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan is set to visit India as the Joe Biden administration wraps up its 4-year term and prepares for the handover of power to Donald Trump 2.0 administration. Sullivan has been one of the most influential and key officials in the outgoing U.S. administration. He has played a critical role in managing conflicts across the world: the Russia-Ukraine war, Israel's war in Gaza, and even tensions with Iran and the growing assertiveness of Beijing. He is expected to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, besides holding talks with Indian counterpart NSA Ajit Doval. U.S. President Joe Biden on Thursday awarded the second highest civilian medal to Liz Cheney and Benny Thompson, leaders of the congressional investigation into the Capitol riot. Donald Trump has said they should be jailed for their roles in the inquiry. Meanwhile, Biden awarded the Presidential Citizens Medal to 20 people in a ceremony in the East Room of the White House, including Americans who fought for marriage equality, a pioneer in treating wounded soldiers, and two of the president's longtime friends, former Senator Ted Kaufman and former Senator Chris Dodd.
The most important title in America is not president, but citizen. It's we the people. These are the words of the rock upon which this entire nation has been built, not hyperbole. It's fitting that we gather here in the East Room next to the portrait of Teddy Roosevelt, a reformer, a soldier, a governor, a president. He promoted the cause of active citizenship.
The U.S. Commerce Department announced on Thursday it is considering new rules to restrict or ban Chinese-made drones, citing national security concerns. Officials in the U.S. are seeking public input by the 4th of March on measures to protect the drone supply chain, warning that threats from China and Russia could allow adversaries to access and manipulate drones, potentially exposing sensitive U.S. data. China currently dominates the U.S. commercial drone market, making these potential restrictions a significant development. Beijing has added 28 U.S. defense companies, including Lockheed Martin, to a list restricting Chinese sales to them, marking a new escalation in the ongoing trade war. While many of these firms were already under the Chinese scanner or sanctions, this move highlights Beijing's growing pushback against Washington. Analysts suggest that the tensions are expected to rise further in 2025, with US-China relations becoming a key concern for multinational cooperation. One expert noted that such actions are likely to become more frequent, particularly as the US signals a tougher stance under President-elect Donald Trump. Israeli airstrikes killed at least 40 people, including 7 children, across the Gaza Strip on Thursday, hitting Hamas security officials and an Israeli-declared humanitarian zone. The death toll included 14 people who were killed late on Thursday in strikes in Maghazi and in the Nusrat refugee camp in central Gaza. They were taken to the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital. The United Nations Security Council has finally welcomed 5 non-permanent members for the 2025-26 period. Representatives of the newly elected members, Denmark, Greece, Pakistan and Panama and Somalia, joined a flag installation ceremony on Thursday. The 5 newly elected countries will join Algeria, Guyana and the Republic of Korea, Sierra Leone and Slovenia as non-permanent members of the Council. The Fijian government has clarified that 3 Virgin Australia staff members who are being investigated for alleged theft and sexual assault during a layover are not being detained by local authorities, contrary to reports suggesting that the crew members were being held. The government stated that they are staying in their hotel, which is the designated accommodation for Virgin Australia crew members during layovers. The crew has been advised to remain in the hotel area to assist with ongoing police investigation into separate incidents that occurred in Nadi on New Year's Day. The 3 staff members are expected to return to Australia by the end of the week. The German and French foreign ministers are heading to Damascus to see what the German minister said is a clear signal that a political new beginning between Europe and Syria is possible. Germany's Annalena Baerbock and France's Jean-Noël Barrot are expected to meet Al-Julani and representatives of Syrian civil society on Friday. Now, this marks the first official visit to Syria by top diplomats from the European Union countries after the fall of former Syrian President Bashar Assad in a lightning offensive by opposition forces.
With retirement round the corner, I want to spend more time with my family and less time worrying about the numbers. Which reminds me.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK. UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
And that money could help with funeral costs or even as a gift for the grandkids. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
You got them all right. That's amazing.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 977 5808 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
You could save money on your energy, broadband and mobile bills and feel more protected when you switch to a better deal. Switch and save now at uswitch.com.
Who doesn't love a good deal? Meal deals. Be rude not to deals. Seal deals? Or a bit of deal or no deal? We've got free-to-play deals with no deposit required. And up to £1,000 to be won every day. Get that good deal feeling only at Tombola.
I'll fix him, love. Poor pet. Just shows you never know what's going to happen. Which reminds me, I need to protect the life we've built. That's why I'm looking into smart family life insurance. Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
OK, you can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age. If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And it could help my husband with the mortgage.
Just like families, not all life insurance is the same. That's why we offer the Smart Family Guarantee.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cash back on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you'll also get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 977 5753 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
It started with his name, which led me to a secret wedding at Gretna Green. She signed with a signature, he with a cross. Illiterate with a baby imminent, he took his hand to the loom. But the changing times must have forced that hand into finding other work, again and again. Our cities were transformed by people willing to turn their hand to anything. I discovered he was one of them, my great-granddad, Arthur Wade.
Bring your backstory to life with Ancestry.
Welcome back. You're watching the Friday edition of the World Report. Asian stock markets are making gains on Friday, shaking off a slow start to 2025. The MSCI Asia Pacific Index saw a rise of 0.38% with South Korean shares leading the charge. However, concerns remain about the US Federal Reserve's interest rate policies, which have pushed the dollar to a two-year high. Meanwhile, China's stock market continues to struggle amid fears of an economic slowdown and uncertainties surrounding the upcoming US presidency under Donald Trump. Tesla's annual electric vehicle sales have experienced a significant decline for the first time in more than 10 years, marking a major shift in the electric vehicle leader. The decline highlights the challenges that the company faces in maintaining its growth momentum amid increasing competitions in the EV market, especially with Chinese players like Build Your Dreams or BYD. Skydance Media and Paramount Global have strongly defended their proposed $8.4 billion merger, urging the Federal Communications Commission to dismiss objections from critics. The merger, which is facing scrutiny from a range of groups, has raised concerns, particularly over foreign influence due to Tencent Holdings' investment in Skydance. The Center for American Rights, a non-profit law firm, petitioned the FCC to block the deal, citing national security risks. However, Skydance and Paramount argue that these concerns are unfounded and lack merit, emphasizing that no tangible harm has been identified by opponents. The United Steelworkers Union is pushing back against Nippon Steel's latest proposal regarding its potential merger with US Steel. Now, the union expressed concerns that the proposal lacks long-term commitments to sustaining domestic production capacity, calling it a quote-unquote Hail Mary move that could lead the mothballing of vital equipment. The dispute is part of an ongoing opposition to the merger, which would give the US government veto power over any cuts to US Steel's production capacity. The CR450 high-speed train prototype, unveiled in Beijing on Sunday, is capable of reaching a test speed of 450 kilometers and an operational speed of around 400 kilometers an hour. The achievement makes it the fastest high-speed train in the world once it enters commercial service, surpassing China's current CR400, which operates at a 350 kilometers per hour. According to China's State Railway Group, the CR450 excels in key areas such as operational speed, energy efficiency, noise control, and braking performance, setting new global benchmarks.
我们新设计的这个头型，以前呢是由12.5米，现在增长到15米，参照了渐促的这种形式来设计，实现了一个导流的结构。我们在这个整个转任架区进行这种包覆的结构，有助于这个流场的导流，实现减阻的。最终下来呢，整个减阻大概达到了22%左右，使整个车的能耗降低到20%。
Apple has agreed to settle a class action lawsuit for $95 million following accusations that its voice-activated Siri assistant violated users' privacy. Now, the lawsuit, California's Oakland, claims that Apple regularly recorded private conversations without users' consent when Siri was unintentionally activated. These recordings were allegedly shared with third parties, including advertisers. Now, the settlement, which was filed in a federal court and awaits approval from the U.S. District Judge Jeffrey White, is a major move for the company to resolve the privacy concerns surrounding its popular voice assistant. NVIDIA has experienced an incredible surge in the market value, growing by over $2 trillion only in 2024, making it the biggest global gainer in market cap for the year. The chipmaker's market value reached a staggering $3.28 trillion by the end of 2024. This was driven largely by increasing demand for its artificial intelligence-focused chips across various sectors. Now, this boost makes NVIDIA the second most valuable publicly traded company, just behind Apple, which continues to lead with a market valuation approaching almost $4 trillion. Meanwhile, in Norway, electric vehicles have reached a milestone, with nearly 89% of new cars sold in 2024 being fully electric, up from 82% the previous year. The country is now on track, in fact, to meet its ambitious target of eliminating petrol and diesel-powered cars from the new car market by 2025. Strong government incentives, alongside a lack of opposition from the automotive industry, have made this transition possible. Now, Tesla, Volkswagen and Toyota were among the top-selling brands, and Chinese EVs now account for nearly 10% of new car sales in the country. Tesla has reported an 8.8% increase in sales in China for 2024, reaching a record high of over 657,000 cars. The strong performance in its second largest market contrasts with a slight decline in global deliveries, which fell by 1.1% year-on-year. Tesla's sales in China now make up 36.7% of its global total. However, global competition, reduced European subsidies, and a shift towards hybrid vehicles in the US have posed challenges for the company, keeping growth below CEO Elon Musk's initial forecast. Now, Meta Platforms has appointed Republican Joel Kaplan as its new Chief Global Affairs Officer, replacing Nick Clegg. Kaplan's move comes ahead of President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration, signaling a shift as Meta seeks to mend relations with the incoming administration. Kaplan's appointment reflects on the company's strategy to navigate its political content and policies and address criticisms, in fact, from the right. Australia reached 9-4-1 at stumps after bowling out India for 185 on the opening day of the fifth and final test against Australia in Sydney on Friday. India, who recovered from 57 for 3 to 107 for 4 at tea, lost the remaining 6 wickets for just 78 runs in the final session. Wicketkeeper Rishabh Pant top scored for India, while Scott Boland was the pick of the Australian bowlers. In response, the Kangaroos ended the day at 9-for-1 as Jasprit Bumrah removed Usman Khwaja of the last ball of the day. Bumrah clashed with youngster Sam Constance after dismissing Khwaja. Earlier, Indian captain Rohit Sharma rested himself from the series finale, with Bumrah walking out for the toss in his place. Tennis legend Novak Djokovic beat Gail Monfils in the last 16 of the Brisbane International. The Serb produced a strong performance with a 6-3, 6-3 win over Monfils, extending his winning streak to 20-0 against the French player. This victory keeps Djokovic's hopes of securing his 100th ATP Tour title alive. The former world number 1 will face American Riley Opelka in the quarterfinals. Poland is back in the semi-finals of the United Cup for the 3rd year in a row after two tough single victories in Sydney on Thursday. Iga Swiatek sealed the win for Poland with a hard-fought victory over Britain's Kane Boulter, 6-7, 6-1 and 6-4. The win gave Poland an unbeatable 2-0 lead, sending them through to face Kazakhstan in the semi-finals. Swiatek admitted she was exhausted but relieved. Listen in.
I don't know, I'm just exhausted, you know. I'm happy that I won, so I don't need to play mixed doubles. No, but this match was crazy, like so many changes of momentum. Like I thought I have it under control in the first set, but for sure I got tight, you know, and I didn't work on it. But then I didn't want to repeat the same mistake in the third, and yeah, like I took like 4 painkillers because also like a lot hurt, but I'm happy that we won, and for sure I'm gonna use the day off tomorrow.
The Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, is starting 2025 with new ventures. She's returned to Instagram and has a new lifestyle series coming out on Netflix. With Love, Meghan debuts on the 15th of January, featuring Meghan sharing conversations with guests like Mindy Kaling and Alice Waters and showcasing practical how-tos. The first of several announced documentaries about Sean Diddy Combs is landing this month. The Peacock streaming service says Diddy, the making of a bad boy, features never-before-seen footage and interviews with those who had been close to the recording artist and the music mogul. It begins streaming the 14th of January. Combs is currently jailed in New York, where he faces federal sex trafficking charges. British rapper Stormzy has been banned from driving for 9 months after admitting he drove his Rolls-Royce through London while using his phone. The 31-year-old, whose real name is Michael Ebenezer Uwabo Jr., is known for bringing the grime genre of rap into the commercial mainstream. His debut, Gang Signs and Prayer, won Album of the Year at the Brit Awards in 2018, where he was named Best Male British Solo Artist, an honor he won again in 2020. Golden Globes host Nikki Glaser is kicking off Hollywood's 2025 award season. The stand-up comic, known for her roasts, helped roll out the award show's red carpet outside the Beverly Hilton Hotel in Beverly Hills, California on Thursday. Glaser says she's been enjoying writing jokes for the show alongside her friends. Well, that's all we have for you today. Take care and have a wonderful weekend.
We know travel can be confusing, so let us inspire you. Welcome to Qatar. Experience it all. World-class hospitality, diverse landscapes from city to sea, and fly there with the Airline of the Year 2022, Qatar Airways. Book now at travelup.com or call 0207 580 5000. Travel Up, flights, hotels, holidays.
A rare and beautiful tiger, trapped by vicious steel cables, slowly dying. Another victim of wildlife crime. Adopt a better future for tigers with WWF and help stop their painful deaths. We'll send you an exciting adoption pack with a cuddly toy. Call 0800 035 7100 or search WWF Tiger and adopt a tiger for just £3 a month. We must do all we can to keep them alive.
Family life. It's made of ups and downs and those little moments. But should the unthinkable happen to you? Life insurance from Legal & General can help look after monthly bills, the roof over their heads, childcare costs, and most importantly, your family. Because no one protects more families in the UK than us. Premiums start from £5 a month and they never rise. Plus there's a £120 gift card after you apply. Legal & General. Ensure life goes on.
No child should suffer the torture of trachoma. But so many are in pain right now. Nananga's lashes have turned inwards. They rip and tear away at his eyes. Pamelo's sight could be gone forever. He's just 3 years old. Kofanga screams for his mother. His eyes are so infected.